the world doesn't end with a bang. It ends with the sound of a door clicking open and a silence so heavy it feels like it's crushing your lungs. In that 1 second, when your eyes register the two people in front of you, one of whom you thought was your home, your entire biological system undergoes a catastrophic failure. Your heart rate spikes to levels that would kill a weaker man, your vision tunnels until all you see is the betrayal, and for most guys, this is where the permanent damage happens. Not because of what she did, but because of what they do in the next 60 seconds. Most men scream. Some men beg. Some men crumble into a heap on the floor, handing over the last shred of their dignity to the person who just set their life on fire. But the psychological blueprint for survival says that the loudest thing you can do in that room is stay absolutely terrifyingly quiet. If you've just lived through this nightmare, or if you're terrified you need to stay locked into this because we are going to talk about the zero response protocol. The only way to walk out of that room with your soul still intact. Most people react. Few choose to understand. If you're still here, you're part of the few. This isn't about sides. It's about seeing clearly and moving better. Subscribe if that's the path you're on. Drop a comment and be part of the conversation. The immediate psychological danger after the sight is what we call the narrative collapse. Your brain desperately wants to ask, why? It wants to hear an explanation that makes this reality go away. You want her to tell you it's not what it looks like, or that she's sorry, or that she was confused. But you have to understand the mechanics of the betrayer's mind. In that moment, she isn't your partner anymore. She is an enemy agent who has been compromised. Every word that comes out of her mouth is a defensive smoke screen designed to protect her own ego from the weight of what she's done. If you stay and talk, you are giving her the chance to gaslight your own eyes. Strong men understand that the visual data is the only truth they will ever get. The explanation is just poison. This leads us to the refusal of the scene. When you walk in on a betrayal, the atmosphere is charged with a high-voltage guilt. If you stay and scream, you ground that energy. You give her a target to be scared of, which actually helps her self-justify her actions. She can tell herself, see, he's unstable, that's why I strayed. But if you simply turn around and walk away without a single syllable, you leave her alone with the radiation of her own choices. You leave her in a psychological vacuum where there is no one to blame but the person in the mirror. Silence in that moment is a superweapon. It is the ultimate withdrawal of access. You are telling her that she has been deleted from your operating system in real time. Consider the tragedy of Kalen. Kalen was a man who lived with his heart on his sleeve. When he came home early and found the evidence of his life being dismantled, Kalen didn't walk out. He stayed. He stood in the doorway and let out a roar of pain that the neighbors could hear. He spent the next 3 hours interrogating them, demanding to know how long, and how could you? He stayed in that room until he was crying on his knees, asking the woman who had just betrayed him to help him understand. Kalen is the loser in our story because he engaged in emotional liquidation. He thought he was expressing his pain, but he was actually donating his power. By the time the night was over, she wasn't remorseful. She was relieved. She had seen Kalen at his absolute weakest, and in her mind, that weakness justified her disrespect. Kalen spent the next year trying to fix a woman who didn't want to be fixed. He checked her phone every 10 minutes. He followed her to work, and he became a warden in a prison of his own making. He lost his job, he lost 30 pounds of muscle, and he lost the respect of his children because they saw a man who had no bottom line. Kalen proved that a man who stays in the house after the foundation has turned to ash is just waiting for the roof to bury him. He became a ghost haunting his own life, showing us that yelling is just the noise a man makes when he knows he has no control. The reality of the biological shock is that your prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain that thinks logically, has basically left the chat. You are running on pure amygdala. This is why you must have a pre-programmed protocol. Psychological data tells us that the more variables you try to manage in a crisis, the more likely you are to fail. This is why we preach the 3-step extraction. You see, you turn, you leave, No one last word. No packing a bag. You exit the area of operations immediately. The logistics of who owns the couch or who gets the dog can be handled through third parties or legal channels later. In the moment of discovery, your only objective is identity preservation. We also have to talk about the false recovery trap. Within hours of the sight, many men experience a rebound effect where they want to reclaim their partner. It's a primal competition instinct. You want to win her back from the intruder. This is a neurochemical delusion. You aren't winning anything. You are bidding on damaged goods. If you try to fix the relationship in the first 48 hours, you are essentially telling the universe that your boundaries are negotiable. Strong men realize that betrayal is a fatal error. You don't patch a corrupted file that has deleted the source code of your trust. The psychology of the silent exit creates a long-term impact that no amount of screaming can match. When you disappear into the night without a word, you become a mystery that she cannot solve. She expects the drama. She expects the breakup text. When she gets zero feedback, her guilt turns into paranoia. She starts to wonder, what is he doing? What is he thinking? How can he be so cold? By withdrawing your energy, you become the dominant force in her mind again. But this time, it's not as a provider, it's as a judgment. The sovereign man understands that the scene is a test of his core. It is the ultimate audit of his self-worth. If you can stand in the center of the fire and refuse to burn, you have already won. You realize that the person who cares the least about maintaining the lie has the most power. If you are willing to lose her the second she lost herself, you are unstoppable. You are the observer. You are the captain. If the passenger has jumped ship, you don't jump in after her. You maintain the course. Do not be the man who drowns trying to save someone who was swimming away from him the whole time. You are a sovereign man. And a sovereign man knows that the only thing more powerful than the truth is the silence that follows it. You have to realize that the sight was a gift of clarity. It was the universe pulling the veil back so you could see the rot before it killed you. Behavioral observations suggest that men who act decisively in the first hour of discovery recover 10 times faster than men who linger. You are the source. You are the life force. If the vessel was leaking, be glad you found the hole before you were in the middle of the ocean. Most people react. Few people understand. If you're here to think deeper, not louder, you belong here. Subscribe and stay with the ones who choose clarity over noise. Leave a comment if you're part of the conversation. No ego, just awareness. The second psychological hurdle after the sight is the resource extraction. We see it in the data of every high-conflict separation. When a man is in shock, he becomes careless with his assets. He focuses on his pain, while she, driven by survival guilt, focuses on her exit strategy. You have to understand that the woman you saw in that room is no longer the woman you protected. She is now a legal and financial adversary. The sovereign man knows that while his heart is bleeding, his hands must be busy. You don't argue about the infidelity. You audit the joint accounts. You don't plead for loyalty. You secure the property. This isn't about revenge. It's about operational continuity. You are defending the fortress while the traitor is still inside the walls. Then we have to confront the ghosting protocol. Most men think they need to have one final talk to get closure. They want her to admit the weight of her betrayal. But psychological observations tell us that a cheater's confession is almost always curated. She will give you enough truth to relieve her guilt, but not enough to respect your intelligence. The sovereign man realizes that the discovery was the closure. There is nothing left to discuss. Every minute you spend talking is a minute she spends manipulating. By ghosting her not out of anger, but out of absolute disinterest, you reclaim the time she was stealing. You become an unreachable peak. Let's look at the resurrection of Elias. Elias was a man who lived by a code of silence. When he walked into his own bedroom and saw the unthinkable, Elias didn't say a word. He didn't drop his keys. He didn't even break character. He looked at them with the same bored expression he would use for a bad movie, turned around, and walked to his home office. He spent the next 4 hours moving digital assets, changing passwords, and contacting his legal counsel. By the time the panic set in for his wife, Elias had already left the building, both physically and legally. Elias is the winner in our story because he utilized the law of strategic displacement. He realized that his anger was a resource that he shouldn't waste on a dead connection. While his wife was preparing for a screaming match so she could blame his temper for her mistake, Elias gave her zero feedback. He moved into a private space, blocked her on all frequencies, and redirected all communication to his attorney. Elias won because he stayed sovereign. He didn't let her witness his grief. He didn't let her script his reaction. Within 6 months, Elias had rebuilt his physique, pivoted his business to record profits, and was dating women who observed the boundaries he now enforced with iron certainty. He stayed sovereign because he realized that the best way to burn a bridge is to walk across it and never look back to see who is calling your name from the other side. He didn't save the marriage, he saved the man. He proved that a man who can witness his own destruction and choose his next move with a level head is a man who can govern the world. The fourth major psychological realization is the illusion of the competition. When you walk in on her with another man, your biology wants to devaluate the intruder. You want to find flaws in him to make yourself feel superior. But the sovereign man knows that the other man is irrelevant. He is just a symptom of her character defect. If it wasn't him, it would have eventually been someone else. You don't compete with a symptom. You cure the patient by removing them from your life. Furthermore, we must address the sovereignty of the first week. Behavioral data suggests that the actions you take in the first 7 days after the sight will determine the next 7 years of your life. If you bargain, you set a precedent for disrespect. If you forgive without restitution, you train her to hide it better next time. But if you exit immediately, you preserve your identity. You teach the world that your presence is a privilege that can be revoked in a heartbeat. The final realization is that the betrayal was the price of your freedom. You paid a heavy toll to find out that your trust was being vandalized. But now you are no longer living a lie. You are no longer investing in a stock that was delisted months ago. You are free to build on solid ground. You are the architect. You are the source. The reality is that a man who stays to understand the lie will eventually lose the truth about himself. Behavioral observations suggest that clarity is found in distance, not discussion. You are the power. If the covenant is broken, stop trying to mend the stone. Carve a new one. I have a smart question for the men who have the sovereign fortitude to finish this analysis on the tactical exit. If you found out the water in your well was poisoned at the source, would you try to filter every glass for the rest of your life? Or would you pack your bags and find a new spring where the water is pure and the land is yours? You are the well. Your peace is the water. The betrayal was the poison. Stop drinking from the past. Drop a comment below and tell the Brotherhood. If you've been in that room, or if you're in it now, what is the one thing you wish you had said less or done sooner? How did your silence become your strength in the weeks that followed? Share your sovereign strategy. Your calculated move might be the blueprint a brother needs to stop the hemorrhage and start the ascension. Let's build the Council of Sovereign Men together. If you're still here, you weren't just watching. You were paying attention. That means you're done with noise and ready for clarity. If that's you, subscribe and stay connected to this space. Drop a comment with what stood out. I read them. Stay grounded. Stay aware. I'll see you in the next one.